You become the culture. You become the culture. This is from Lenita. For a special person who hit 7 figures not so long ago, and her name's Lenita, and Seven figures.
Check this out.
Finally got it.
You finally got it. I know. She's almost on multiple 7 figures, but let's take a photo. From charging $200 in your program to now $80,000. $80,000. I've got to increase the price of 0.1. Crazy. Lenita is a product of the product. First person, I've done 30 challenges, 30. She did the first one. Did my first challenge. Ascended through the Ascension model, PTP, Bootcamp, P1, 7-figure award. And we saw her prices grew, and the journey she went on throughout that as well. She's a very, I guess, quiet achiever. She doesn't like to make a lot of noise, very unassuming, and you wouldn't know that she's in the room. Very much like Weiwei, you just wouldn't know. And so that being said, Lena, stage is yours.
Thank you, Richmond. Yeah, I think we say the challenge OG, you know, the first ever challenge. I remember I followed Richmond for 12 months, and we laugh about it now. It's like, you know, you took your time. And the first initial, I guess, reaction when I met him in the challenge, I was like, wow, like he really is the real deal. And I think we are so swamped with so many coaches in our DMs that we, you know, the natural skepticism when you come across a coach. But the thing that drew me most to Richmond and Point One was the culture, like how they show up, you know, and it's something that you just can't find anywhere else. And you guys, the way you deliver Point One is an extension of who you are and how you show up in your family. And then you see it in Catherine, you see it in Shane, and you just see, you can't fake that. It's something that you're not taught, and you can't get that from a book. And I thought, wow, like I resonate with that so much that I finally started to step up in my life and built my organization as an extension of how I was raised and how I fight for my family and the culture that I was raised in. And so people ask me, Lenita, like, how do you do it? And we laugh about it. I think I was telling Catherine this. I'm like, oh my God, do we get one-to-one with TK? I honestly was so caught up with just doing my own thing that I'm sorry for that in a way where I didn't leverage that one-to-one, but I'm also grateful because it taught me the power of having inner accountability. Point One are incredible with so much accountability, but at the end of the day, there's so much edification that will come from Richmond, that will come from TK, that will come from Catherine. But at the end of the day, you need to edify who you are, because if you don't, your market is going to choose someone else. And so you need to choose the angles that gives you the credibility. For me, I'm a product of my product as well. I market the angle that gives me the most credibility, and for my niche being with teenagers, I market my teenage story. I don't market the parent story yet. Do you get what I mean? And so a lot of the time, that's something that I will be judged on, but I get the most accountability or the most edification from the story that gives me the most credibility. So you guys need to find the angle that gives you the most credibility. And so I want to leave it with this as well. The hype is really real. Yeah? The hype is real. Today, you guys, we're all on a high. But can I keep it real with you for 1 second? Yeah? When you go home, I don't know about you, but a lot of people aren't going to clap for you. And if you look around this room, we're so blessed that we have people that do clap for us. But when you go home today, that hype is not going to be there. And so you need to clap for yourself. Because the people that you love the most, they're not caught up with the program yet. But they will eventually will catch up. My grandmother till today, if you know my story, I love my grandmother. She's my bestie, but I'm a carer for my grandmother. And 3 years ago, before I met Richmond, I chose to move out of home, like my home, and I moved to the back of my grandmother's house, and I moved into the granny flat. And Richmond didn't know this the whole entire time in point one, because I was so afraid of marketing that side of me, because it's not the sexy thing to market. But I built my 7-figure company from a granny flat behind my grandmother's house. Because I chose to market the angle that gives me the most credibility, which is the fight for my family, the loyalty, the culture, the values, the morals. Compete on heart. Don't compete on paper, because that shit can be taken away straight away. Anyone can copy that. But they can't copy your life experience and the character you've built along the way. And so for me, I've learned to show up so much more powerfully for my family and fall in love with money, because money surely, okay, doesn't make you happy, but it gives you choices. It gives you the ability to pay for things, medical bills, carers. I took my mother on a trip. She hasn't been overseas in 40 years. That's just the type of person that she is. I was raised by a single mum. And so I get to do that now. And that's why I love money so much, because of what I can do for the people that I love, the clients that I have, and the community that I want to give back to, including my church. So I don't know why you want to make money, but for me, it's all about those giving back. So I just want to keep making more so I can do more and I can serve more. And I just want to say to Bowtie this, thank you so much for how you show up in your own family and how you bring that to point one, because I can just tell you fight for us so much. And I just got super emotional today with all the shares and all the feels, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I think I'm going to go up on stage soon. I don't know how I'm going to hold myself. And most importantly, the metrics are important, but the number one metric you need to consistently measure day in, day out is who you are and how you show up. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And that's the metric to create culture. It's you. It's what you value. And this is a beautiful thing about culture, is every culture is different because every person is different. And that's why you can carve out your space. Even though your niche may be saturated and you may have 1,000 competitors, but there's no 1,000 you. There's no 1,000 you with the same values and the same cultures and the same beliefs and the same spirituality. And there's only one you. And if you continually build into that and lean into that, and that's how you create culture. And that's why the events we run, it really is a cultural event, a family vibe. And yesterday we had this great question inside the P1 Masterclass. Who's up for going to the P1 Masterclass today? Backstage P1, who'd be up for going to that? Yeah, cool. And the question was around, like if I'm running a 2-day event, like Katie asked it, and I asked her, are you offering anything? And she's like, no, there's no offer, which is fine. Like, you know, it's, for example, like at Her Locker or Ocean's 8, or like we just do these events for community. We don't make an offer. There is no offer inside P1 anyway. And so, but you always need to be selling one thing: retention. They must walk out of the event feeling like, I'm so glad I made this choice with you 6 months ago, or 9 months ago, or a day ago. You must be always selling retention. And how you do that is through culture and community. And so that's why we do the Christmas party at the end of the year. So they feel like they belong. And it really is a place of belonging, like Kim was saying. She's still so, you can see the joy in her face and in her body as she reminisces on the Christmas party that we literally had only a couple of weeks ago. So this is one of the Christmas parties that we had a couple of years ago. of what it exemplifies, then I've got a question for you to answer for yourself to create culture for your community. Point one.
Blue sky and the wind in my hair, white clouds and the sunlight is here again. Take my hand, hey, where have you been? We'll be alright, boy, now I see clearly. And I'll take the wheel, I can feel it in the air. This time we'll be for real. You know I got a ways to get you back. We're headed for the summits, are you feeling that? Let's start over again, forget the sorrow. We can't Blue sky and the wind in my hair, big waves and the sunlight is here again. Take my hand, hey, where have you been? Let's take a ride, boy, now I see clearly. And I'll take the wheel, I can feel it in the air. This time we'll be for real. You know I got a ways to get you back. We're headed for the summits, are you feeling that? Let's start over again, forget the sorrow. We can't You know I got a ways to get you back. We're headed for the summits, are you feeling that? Let's start over again, forget the sorrow. We can't
All right, so as you experience that, I want you to really think about what dream culture would you like to create for your community? And it only starts with one person, and that's you. And I want you to imagine if you were the only one in your community, what would be the culture like? Because when you add in that first client, then the second and the third, it always starts with you. How many of you get that? Right? It always starts with you. And so I want to give you guys a couple of songs to answer this question. What dream culture would you like to create for your chosen family? What does that look like? It might just be a few words. It might be love, fun, family, loyalty, commitment, honesty, truth, laughter, whatever it is. What does that look like? What do you need to value to create this? And more importantly, who do you need to allow yourself to become to be able to create that for your tribe? Who do you need to allow yourself to become? Maybe become more curious, more light, more loving, more giving, more whatever it is for you. So I'll give you guys a couple of songs. We'll come back after a couple of songs.
Blue sky and the wind in my hair, white clouds and the sunlight is here again. Take my hand, hey, where have you been? We'll be alright, boy, now I see clearly. And I'll take the wheel, I can feel it in the air. This time we'll be for real. You know I got a ways to get you back. We're headed for the summits, are you feeling that? can feel it in the air. This time will be for real. You know I found ways to get you back. We're headed for the surface. Are you feeling that? Let's start over again. Forget the sorrows. We can't stop. You know I found ways to get you back. We're headed for the surface. Are you feeling that? Let's start over again. Forget the sorrows. We can't You know I found ways to get you back. We're headed for the surface. Are you feeling that? Let's start over again. Forget the sorrow. We can't stop. You know I found ways to get you back. We're headed for the surface. Are you feeling that? Let's start over again. Forget the sorrow. We can't stop.
सुन मेरी जान जीने से खफा तू है क्यों होने दे खता तू जो है पल यही है जी लेना संग मैं रहूं कितना भी हो अंधेरा और जिक्र हो तेरा मेरी हर दुआ में Life will be beautiful. Know that you're not alone. We rise and we fall. I see who you are underneath it all. The sun and the moon and stars. We don't have to look so far. In the shadows of dawn, and here all alone, angels for each other. We are. Are you looking up? Are you looking up like I do? I could be right beside you, and we may never know. For all this time, it's getting kinda clear as we getting near the daylight. If I learn to pray right, I pray safely home. Life will be beautiful. Know that you're not alone. We rise and we fall. I see who you are underneath it all. The sun and the moon and stars. We don't have to look so far. In the shadows of dawn, and here all alone, angels for each other. We are. Life will be beautiful. Know that you're not alone. We rise and we fall. I see who you are underneath it all. The sun and the moon and stars. We don't have to look so far. In the shadows of dawn, then here all alone, angels for each other. We are.
All right, all right. That should be more than enough time just to actually get something on paper, because I'd like to hear a couple of shares from you guys. So if you'd like to share what you have, this opportunity to type in share.
Wow, okay. Caroline was very, you know what, I've got a reward speed. She even typed share out. You must be one of those touch typers that, you know, I'm like search and destroy, like one button at a time, but that was fast. Let's get Caroline on the main stage.
Hey Caroline, how you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Very good too, very good. Where are you tuning in from?
I'm just north of Brisbane in Scarborough.
Right. Ah, right, okay. Yeah. Cool, very cool, very cool. First boot camp?
Yes, it is. Yes, I'm so
Nice.
happy to be here, and I'm loving it. It's just been awesome. Thank you so much.
So good. Cool, all right. I'm excited for your share.
Okay, it's a lot of just words, descriptive words. Okay, what dream culture would you like to create for my chosen family? I have written beautiful, heartfelt belonging, trust, support, deep-seated safety, sisterhood/brotherhood, a sense of family that is tied by all these things. I've got your back and I won't let you fail or fall. Incredible success in whatever thing they are dreaming of creating, dreams coming true right before their eyes. Their souls feel peaceful, their hearts are full of joy, and their bodies permit the healthy expression of their incredible, unique talents. What would you need to create this? What would you need to value to create this? Pardon me, I'm a little excited. Undeniable support, trust, sincerity, integrity, loyalty, honesty, dedication, synchronicity, win-win-win situations, positivity, inner knowingness, and collaboration. And who do you need to allow yourself to become to be able to create that for your tribe? I wrote all of the above, a walking, talking, breathing expression of soul-driven vitality, truth, openness, vulnerability, love, and commitment, knowing that I am safe, I am a creator, and I create with clarity, love, light, and vision.
Wow. Wow. Caroline, if we could, that was great.
Thank
If we
you.
could, it was amazing. If we could condense that into, say, 2, 3, or 4 words, what comes up for you? What feels right for you?
Inner knowingness, without doubt, that I am who I am because I choose to be that.
Great. And let's condense that into 2 or 3 words.
I am that I am.
Wow. Wow. Give it up for Caroline.
But I remember who you are.
Caroline, that's going to be your mantra. Cool with that? Yeah. And if you're wondering what your mantra is, it's hidden in the answer that you just given there. What your ethos, your values, your culture, keep believing, never settle. We've got the heart, but also got the ambition. And so if you're wondering what your tagline is, or what your mantra is, or what it is, congratulations, the gold is right there within you. You guys love that, by the way? Yep, well done, Caroline. Who can feel her energy too, by the way? Yeah, just a pure, strong, loving, nurturing, compassionate energy, very compassionate. So love that. Thank you, Caroline, for being the first one to type and share so fast as well. Okay, now I was going to give feedback. So that was what I call a classic quarter-inch coaching for Caroline. So what's quarter-inch? A couple of years ago in our former home, it was during a time where I was extremely busy because the world had opened up again, we could travel again, and I was running or preparing for boot camp events. And in that home, our dining room had these 2 downlights, and it was lit very well with these 2 downlights. It was more than enough. And one evening, one of the downlights just busted. And that's not a big deal because the other downlight lit it still extremely well. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm one of those guys who, if you got, say, 5, 6, 7 lights in a room and one of them busts, you're not going to change. Well, I don't change it. I wait until 2 or 3 or 4 busts. Like, anyone there like that? Or are you kind of like the opposite where, you know, I like to, like, in our other house, we had chandeliers as well. And in the chandeliers, there's like all these little candle lights, and there's about a dozen of them. And I'm definitely not changing it if one goes, but usually once half of them go, then I'll make the effort to change 5 or 6 globes at the same time. So I'm kind of like that. I want to be efficient like that. And so this one night, one of the lights busted, and that's fine. And then funnily enough, a month later, the other one busted. And like, well, that's interesting. They kind of busted at the same time, and which is very unusual. And it happened at a time where I was extremely busy, where it just was on the lowest priority list to actually go change it. And in our household, that's kind of my role. Like, that's the agreed, I do that kind of stuff. And so for the next month, we basically had candlelight dinner because I was so busy that I couldn't prioritize changing the bulb. And it was candlelight dinner to the point where we had to turn on the light in the neighboring room to light up this room just to eat dinner. And it got to the point where Penny was getting really frustrated because she's like, when are you going to change the bulbs? When are you going to change the bulbs? When are you going to change the bulbs? I'm like, I'm so busy. Okay, let me go change it. And so after a month of eating candlelight dinner, I said, I'm going to go change the bulbs. And in Australia, we have this department store called Bunnings. I don't know what it's called in America, but it's a big, like, sells hardware. And I hate going to Bunnings because if you want to go to Bunnings to change a light globe, you're presented with aisles of light globes. Who's ever experienced something like that before? And I was like, I just want to change a light globe. And now you got aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of light globes. And now you got all this choice. That's why too much choice is a problem. And so then I finally went to Bunnings, and now I'm like, now I'm going to go to Bunnings. I hate going to Bunnings. You go there, you think it's going to take a minute. It ends up taking half an hour or sometimes even longer. You have to ask for help. The service is terrible. And they're just to find one globe. So that night I went to Bunnings. I drove back and I got a globe. It took me about an hour there and back. And I finally got the globes and I changed it, turned on the light, nothing happened. And now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is terrible. It must be an electricity problem or a fault with the circuit, because that's not my domain. They're brand new light globes. And so then I decided to call an electrician because that's not my expertise. And I found an electrician. I said, this is the problem. I got these light globes. I put it in, didn't work. And he said, okay, cool. If I come out and look at the problem, and if there's not much of a problem, I'm going to have to charge you a call-out fee of $140. Are you okay with that? I'm like, yeah, of course. It's clearly a problem. The light's not working. He's like, look, just to save you $140, can you send me a picture of the light globe? Can you send me a picture of the light that you bought? Can you send me a picture of the switch? Just see if I can help troubleshoot it now so I don't waste you $140. So I sent him all the pictures, and he said, yeah, I know your problem. You have a dimmer on that switch. And I said, yes, I do. Well, you didn't buy dimmable light globes. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. He's like, look, I just saved you $140. Go back to Bunnings, buy dimmable light globes. I'm like, fine. So I went back to Bunnings. I didn't even bother asking for a refund because they were only like $6 each. And I bought dimmable light globes. So here's the problem. When I went to Bunnings, you think there's only 2 or 3 options. But there's 100 different choices of dimmable light globes. And I'm like, and I have to stand there in the big aisles trying to choose a dimmable light globe. Which one do you choose? I don't know. I need help. Finally, after an hour, I find the right globes, I go home, I put it in, and I turn on the light, and it doesn't work. And now I definitely know that it's not the light globe problem. It is something with the circuit. So I messaged the electrician again. I said, here's the problem. I bought the right globes. I sent him the picture. He said, yep, you did buy the right ones. Okay, I can come tomorrow. And he comes tomorrow, and it was a Monday. And he came out just before 11 o'clock. And 11 o'clock every Monday, we have our big team meeting. And during our team meeting, I legit kid you not, the team meeting is about to start, and I get this doorbell, and I go, oh, excuse me, I just got to let the electrician in. I let him in, I explained to him the problem, and I said to him, look, I'm just going to go in the next room. We've got a team meeting on right now. Just knock on the door when you're done. I'm thinking it's going to take, I don't know, half an hour, an hour? I don't know how long it's going to take. But as I go back to my meeting room, he knocks on the door after 2 minutes, and he says, it's all done. I'm like, what? All done? That's crazy. What'd you do? It's like, look, you're not going to like this, but you know, your light switch, it's a bit of an older one. It's a bit finicky. You just had to like turn the light, like screw the light in an extra 1/4 inch, just a bit tighter. And I'm like, I'm not an idiot. I know how to change a light bulb. I know how to screw things in. In my definition, it was tight enough, but it was one of those ones where it just an extra 1/4 inch. And that made all the difference. And I had to pay him $140. And I was happy to pay for 2 minutes of his time because he knew something I didn't know. And if I tried to YouTube it, if I tried to AI it, if I tried to troubleshoot it, it may have taken me hours and hours and hours of stress, headaches, anxiety. I don't even know what I'm doing. That kind of stuff I'm not an expert in. And I may not even get to the end result. And so I paid him for his expertise. I could have tried it on my own, all this frustration, another month of eating in candlelight dinner, but I paid the $140 because he knew the 1/4 inch turn. And so why am I sharing that story with you? Because I'd like to give one of you a 1/4 inch turn on your offer. On your offer. I'd like to share your offer, get a 1/4 inch turn, but here's the big, so if you like a 1/4 inch turn on your offer, just type in 1/4 inch into the chat screen. And kind of like how I just gave, Caroline a 1/4 inch turn just through some basic coaching. When I say basic coaching, I chunked down on 4 words and she said, I am that I am. And I was like, wow, that was so powerful. Now, as you guys type that in, we got Eileen. Normally I reserve some time for this. I want to give this time a credit, give you guys a 1/4 inch turn. But we got Eileen Wider coming in very, very soon. And when you have speakers coming in and they have a scheduled time, you can't be running late. And so it's okay if I leave the 1/4 inch turn for later on today, if not later on tomorrow. Is that okay for you guys? Is that okay for you guys? Cool. Because I don't want to be late for her. And also we've got some award presentations too. And I also want to give you about 5 minutes to empty your bladders, because the worst thing that can happen is in the middle of Eileen's presentation, you're like, I need to pee. I need to pee. So I don't want that for you, because she's going to blow the roof off. So that being said, I will give a 1/4 inch turn either end of today, or worst case, I'll do it tomorrow. But that'll blow your mind. Or worst case, you know what? If you want to do a share later on, we have opportunities to share, put up your hand for a share, because quite often during a share, I will give 1/4 inch turns. I just can't help myself. I'm like, I just want to give a 1/4 inch turn. Is that cool with everyone here? Show of hands. Yes, very cool. So that being said, I'm going to give a couple of awards out. Then we're going to have a pee break. And then Eileen White is going to come on very soon. So these awards, I want to, in the P1 Masterclass yesterday, I explained a story about Carter. So who was here when I talked about the Roger Bannister story? Who was here yesterday when I talked about Roger Bannister, 1954, first one to break the 4-minute mile? When he did it, now 1,000 people have done it. In the history of mankind, before 1954, no one's ever done it before, but because he became the first, he did it. And that's when the first person did 100K in 0.1, it was the floodgates. When I was the Roger Bannister for selling 100K offer inside P1, and then it became a floodgates, and then everyone did it because they believed it was possible. And these awards are not Roger Bannister awards because the first one has been broken, but quite often it takes someone to be the first to build belief for everyone else. Remember, everyone, your clients are secretly looking at you to lead them. They're just waiting for you to go first. And I share that story because this is the power of having a community, whether you have 2 or 3 people or 100 or 542 like we have in the Zoom room right now. In fact, it's way more powerful than I could even explain or you could even realize. So Carter, she's 4.5 now. She's extremely defiant, which is an excellent trait to have in entrepreneurship. So as a parent, I don't want to squash that in her. I just want to help her harness that and focus that in a resourceful way, not in a destructive way. And so as a parent, if you've got defiant kids, don't crush that. That's the worst thing you can do, because you want to help them use defiance in a way that's going to serve them, particularly in business. Defiance is a great trait. When someone says you can't, you say, I'll show you. Like, that's such a great trait. So don't lose that. If you've got some of that in you and it's been crushed by someone in your family or someone you know, well, bring it back out of you, because it's such a great trait to have. You need to have that fire in you. And so Carter's got that fire in her. And we tried to get her swimming lessons when she was 1, no way. 2, not having it. 3, nah, forget it. It's not happening. It's not happening with Carter. Finally, at 4, she's like wanting to do it now because she sees her sister's doing it. And so about 6 months ago, we got in her first swim class and we said, Carter, like, let's do this. And, after 4 years of trying, and she didn't want to do it. Now she's kind of wanted to do a little bit. And I kid you not, the first lesson was she dipped her toes in the water. And when I've never understood that, like, I understood the metaphor, but I experienced the metaphor because she literally dipped her toes in the water and that's all she did for the whole hour. Like, wow, she literally dipped her toes in the water. The second session, she got her body in the water. The third session, she started swimming around. The fourth session, she got to know some of the friends that were there from the last 3 weeks. So there was 2 kids there that she got to know every single week. And by the 4th week, they're all friends. Yeah, kids just make friends really fast. And so after about 6 or 7 sessions, then it became playtime for her. Mommy, Daddy, we're going swimming? Yeah, we are. Yeah, I get to play with my friends. It became fun now. Now, one of the sessions a couple of months ago, the teacher was taking the skill set to the next level, because normally she'd do like a bit of kickboards, blow some bubbles, pour some shower heads over her head and stuff like that. But this time it's like, today we're going to stand on the edge, you're going to jump off and I'm going to catch you. It's like, wow. And I'm thinking, I don't know if Carter's going to do that. Like a couple of weeks ago, she's dipping her toes in the water. I'm not sure if she's going to do that. And the teacher looks at Carter and Carter's like, no, not having it. No way. I'm like, yeah, I didn't think she was going to do it. That's a big leap for her. And she looks at the 2 kids, goes to the first kid. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. And gets on the edge, jumps off. Teacher catches her, gets in the water, has some fun. Second kid gets on the edge, jumps off, gets in the water, has some fun. And Carter's looking at the 2 friends that she now knows. It's like, whoa. Okay, do it too. Gets on the edge, jumps off. Teacher catches her. The power of belief. The power of seeing your peers go first. That's the power of proximity. Now, had that been one-on-one coaching, had that been one-on-one with Carter, I guarantee after that one-on-one session, after 60 minutes of one-on-one with her, she still wouldn't have jumped off. No way. It probably would have taken 5 or 6 one-on-one sessions to get her to finally jump off, but because she saw her friends do it in that small setting, she's jumping off too. Who can see the power in this? This is why it's important to spend time with the right people. Now, if those 2 didn't jump off, what's the chance of getting any of them to jump off in the next month? None. It even goes the other way if it's a bad peer group. Is this all making sense? Yeah? And so that's the power. And so on that note, I share that story because I want to hand out some awards. The first one's for Nicholas Blewett. For he's almost at $1 million. I don't know if he's hit $1 million yet, but it's like $960,000 or something. But this is for $750K. So Nicholas Blewett, if you're in the house, let's get you up, and I am going to clean that up as well. So have you hit $1 million yet, Nick?
No, so close, Rich. It's not funny. I'll hustle it through for this.
All right, we'll save this one for you next time. You're going to hit it for sure. Your name belongs in there. Well, this is for $750,000 in revenue in your business. So well done. You look sharp, by the way. Great suit.
Thank you very much. Mate, it's not every day you get to stand up on this stage, right?
That's true. Let's do a screenshot first, photo. in a non-tangible niche, Qigong coaching. Like he's the Qigong guy. And so, Nick, thank you for being a leader in our community and for going first on so many things too. And so I appreciate you. And man, I really sincerely love hanging out with you. Like sincerely, the nights we have, like, the whiskeys, the tequilas, all that kind of stuff. It's just been so awesome, man. So thank you for that. And congratulations on your awesome results too. So over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rich. And yeah, mate, hanging out with you is amazing. And the wisdom, the advice that spending time with you has given me and the insight into what it takes, the personality traits that it really requires to win in this business. Mate, you have taught me so much. Thank you so much. And as you know, I'm in Tony's 100K offer as well with the Apex. And between the both of you and Shane and Catherine and everyone in the team, it's hard to even express what it means to me. So thank you so much. And like my story began about 3 years ago, and I was in a really rough time of my life, just starting to come out to see the other side of a really dark depression. I'd lost a relationship. I had, there's nothing worse in this world than a broken man, right? It is just like people just want to walk away from a broken man. And I never thought I'd get there in my life. I had different dreams, different aspirations, and I found myself on the bottom, completely abandoned by my loved ones, my friends, the community that I'd developed. But defiance is something that defines me. And I was on the bottom and I had a gift, a phone call that came when I was at my lowest that set me on my path by someone just simply asking if I trained people in Qigong. And it was just a moment that completely changed me. And even though I began to have that defiance and believe in myself and chose to disbelieve the thoughts, the feelings, the belief systems that I built up across a lifetime that I couldn't, and that I was literally the worst person in the world, coming out of that and starting to disbelieve it when I found point one. And when I came into this community and I started to get infected, infected by the love, the positivity, the community, the belief that I could, that the whispers that I had in the back of my mind that I was putting all my belief and trust in became reinforced. And through borrowing those beliefs off Rich, off Tony, off Shane, off the community, and I've scaled through the beginning of Underdog, which was Passion to Profits. I went through point one and, I've scaled up into Platts. And so to my Platts and sitting there in the point one Christmas party recently, 3 years down, knowing that I was teetering on my $1 million crossing over in sales and watching how my community's grown and the values that I'm inserting into my community that I've picked up along the way. And the beautiful thing is that if I fall down, if I drop down onto a knee, the community's here to pick me up. And I've used that over and over and over again. Because business will take you up and down. And when I chose to believe in myself, when I chose to back myself, the community showed up. And there is that saying in Qigong, in martial arts, in Chinese culture, that when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. And Rich, Tony, point one, my Platts family, you are those teachers. You are that wisdom. You are that voice that lifts me up. And for where I was in my life to now, crossing over my $750,000 in sales, reaching over my 1 million in the most untangible niche, going against all the naysayers that said, Qigong, it's a nothing, it'll never work, you will never work. To find a community that pats me on my back, that supports me. Richmond, thank you so much for creating point one. Thank you so much for leading us and showing us what's possible. To the Platts family, to point one, guys, thank you so much. It means so much to me to be here today. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nick. Yeah, super appreciate Nick. Sincerely, super appreciate you. All right, we've got one more award, and then I'm going to give you guys a pre-break, and then Eileen White is going to literally come on stage. And this is for $2.5 million for Sarah Ann, like 2.5 mil in revenue. So, Sarah Ann, let's take a photo. Very cool. I think I handed your second mil one at SFS that you might have hung up. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah.
I got a double. I was like, am I meant to have two? I was put it up there anyway.
Yeah. One per mil. Of course, you get the second one for the second mil.
2.5 mil. Okay.
Oh, 2.5 is just a 0.11, but yeah, one per mil for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, congratulations, Sarah. And in case people don't know the backstory, came to P1 when it started, graduated. I thought, when you think someone's got their X factor and they graduate and they're going to crush it, and then a couple of years later, it's like, I was really surprised. I messaged her like, you haven't grown? I thought you've grown. He's like, no. And came back, and now it's just, she's crushing it so much. So you know how much I love and adore you, Sarah. Like sincerely. So congratulations, well done, and the stage is yours.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I have a different version of that story.
It is a different. You hated me for a while. Yeah.
But super, super grateful. I don't look as nice as Nick. I'm about to like rush off to the airport, and I was just thinking how 7 years ago, when my business wasn't making any money, I had this goal to travel 6 months of the year. I wanted to travel basically half of the year, and I wasn't making any money in my business. And I looked at the goal, and it just felt so far away. I could not see any way of making it happen. So I changed it to like 2 to 3 months. I was like, oh, I'll shorten it. But now I like not even focusing on that goal, but just thanks to you and Point One and this family and community and Tony and everyone here, I travel 6 months of the year, right? Like I'm getting this award now, and then I get to go get on a plane and go to another event, and then I get to do this really beautiful like luxury mastermind with some of my high-end clients, and then go on a cruise. And it's just really, really cool, right? That this is just Tuesday, just a regular, or Wednesday or Saturday or what, it's just a regular day now. It doesn't even feel, big or fancy or anything. And that's thanks to you. That's thanks to this community for creating something that has enabled me to be able to, grow my business and lead me to do this. And for anyone who is new here or doesn't know, yes, I left and then I came back to Point One. We got to 200K like in sales the first time I was in Point One, and then I went away and I was trying everything to scale, and I just could not get past the 300K. I was gone for maybe a couple of years, and about 1 year into that, Richmond reached out to me and he goes, Sarah, I think you should be further along by now. I have a program to get you to $1 million. And I'm like, what do you mean you have a program? I haven't heard from you in a year. I thought we were friends. I was so dirty at him. I was so dirty at him that I just I said no, and then I don't know what I said, but I didn't talk to him again for a year. Said nothing, went off along my way, and another 12 months went by and I was still in the same spot, not moving forward. And Richmond was clearly growing. He had all this engagement and there was a lot of hype and stuff going on. And so I thought, okay, I'll go to his workshop and see what he has to offer. And going back really required me to get over myself and get over my ego. And there's this quote that one of my mentors when I was working in telesales said to me. He goes, Sarah, you can be right or you can make the sale. You can be right or you can make the sale. Relationships, right? You can be right or you can have a happy partner. And in business, you can be right or you can have success, but there is no place for ego in success. And I really had to let my ego go. And so I did. I went back and I went to this masterclass, and I wasn't going to buy anything, but he sold a ticket to boot camp. And I was like, yeah, I'll go and see what he's doing at boot camp now. I'd already been to like some boot camps when I was here before, but I'll just go and see what he's doing, and I'll try and model it from the outside. And then, of course, he makes an offer and he goes, the price is going up and yada, yada. And I'm like, I just spent all my money with these other people and it was a waste, and I don't really have anything for this right now, but the price is going up. And I went back and forth like, do I ask him to do it in Aussie dollars? Because it used to be 12,000 Australian dollars and now it's 25,000 US dollars. And that's like more than my car. And just kind of like had this conversation with myself. I was like, no, Sarah, like that's disrespectful. That's rude. This is his price. You left, you came back. This is it. If you want to get back in. And it really stretched me coming back. And I know this is going to sound silly and you guys are going to laugh and think it's stupid, but I had to stop buying blueberries. couldn't afford $9 blueberries. I stopped driving on toll roads. I missed the car repayment. Like I was stretched to the max and I was cutting expenses. I went through everything that I had and I cut all my expenses and did everything that I needed to do to be able to make the repayments. And the lesson that I got from that, really, that enabled me to be able to do that I want to share with you guys, is just to make friends with the worst case scenario. Because the worst case scenario is really not that bad. Like missed out on some blueberries, missed a repayment. I still caught up later. Don't worry, they came to me to get that payment still. But even if the worst case scenario was worse than that, like what could it have been? I get kicked out of my house. I go back and live with my family, or I live with my parents. Like they're probably not going to pay for my rent, but I'm sure they'll take me in, right? Like I'm not going to be homeless. The worst case scenario, I sell my car, like I'm not going to be homeless. And so when I think about it, like really the only reason that I would have a problem with any of that is still coming back to the first lesson, which was just my ego, that I did not want to take a few steps backwards to be able to take more steps forward. And so again, I just made friends with the worst case scenario and came back to point one. And then that was like the end of 2023, September. And then 2024 was our first $1 million year. So super, super grateful. And then last year we did 1.5 mil. And that was traveling every single month, like traveling nonstop the whole time, which I'm really, really grateful for. And then Richmond played that really bad video yesterday. I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this video, I'm gonna like hack into your computer and delete the video. It's not that bad, but it's definitely not my nicest video. You guys can hear my voice is trembling in that video. That was one of the scariest investments that I've ever made, because it was my house deposit. It was my house deposit. And I had made a promise. The promise was, don't spend any more money. The next money that you spend is going towards this. Like, this is it, right? So I'd made that promise to myself. I'd made that commitment. I'd worked so hard. My parents were on my ass. Lordy, Lord, if my dad knew what I put into my business, he would have a heart attack, right? They don't get it. And so I asked him to join that, and you guys can hear my voice was trembling. I was really, really nervous. But I think about why I did that when there was no roadmap. Like today, you guys are learning how to put together irresistible offers, right? Irreplaceable offers. You have a roadmap. You have all these things in it. There was none of that in the 100K offer, right? And so what was there? The only thing that I really had was undoubtable trust for Richmond. Trust that I knew that he would do his best to over deliver and to serve me and to make sure that I would get the outcome, and trust in myself. Trust that I knew that I would turn up and do what was required to make it work. And I did turn up differently. We went to that funnel hacking live, and oh my, I took so many notes. I've never taken so many notes at an event before. I sat like up the front, like it was like a whole new Sarah, because I had spent so much money to be here, right? And so I had this trust in Richmond. I had this trust in myself. And I think for some of you, like the thing that's holding you back right now is you have the roadmap, you have the support. If you really think about the worst case scenario and you let go of your ego and you take a couple of steps backwards to take a few steps forward, it's really not that bad. It's not that, like, come on, like some blueberries, like whatever. Like it's not that bad, guys. And so some of you really just need to be able to trust the process and surrender and let go. And I know that was really big for me, was just being able to go, okay, this is it. This is where I'm at. This is where I am on the journey. And I trust that it's going to take me to where I'm going to go. And I trust my mentor and I trust myself to turn up. And so I hope that that was helpful for you guys. And I'm super grateful for you, Richmond. I'm grateful for you, Tony. I'm grateful for all of point one. I think I've probably had like one-on-one call the whole time that I've been in point one. Like I just come to the call every week, right? And I turn up and I listen and I get off and I go and implement. And that for me has been enough. And you have way more support than that even in here that I just haven't even used yet. And so anyway, I'm just grateful and you guys rock and thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much. Guys, give it up for Sarah.
But I remember who you are.
Appreciate you, Sarah, a lot, and Nick as well, for that matter too. So thank you. And you know, the biggest blessing that's come out of this is the friendships that are created through this. And I legit, sincerely, really enjoy hanging out with P1s. It's very fulfilling, and it hasn't been like that, like all the time. And so it's just really at this point where it's like, wow, like, you know, these are the people I really want to hang out with. You know, and so it's really like that. So, ladies and gents, in a couple of minutes' time, Eileen she might even be in the Zoom room right now, but I want to make sure that your bladders are empty, because the worst thing that can happen is halfway through her talk and you're like, you know, so empty your bladders, because she's going to bring the fire, because Eileen Whiter is going to be speaking in a couple of minutes' time. So we'll put on one song, like legit one song, 3-minute song. We'll come back and I'm going to introduce Eileen to the stage. If you know of her, you're super excited. I know you are. If you haven't met her before, then at the end of her talk, you are going to fall in love with her straight away. And so we'll literally come back in about 3 minutes time. Empty your bladders, don't do anything else, and we'll come back in 3 minutes time. 3, 2, 1, go.
Baby, this is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. What you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves. Lightning strikes every time she moves.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. All right, so the moment has come. I know many of you in the room are super excited for this. So as we do that, we've got some people in the empty chairs. So ladies and gents, I'm going to give you guys, if you guys can hear me, I know you can hear me right now. You've probably got your volume up loud. You're probably, okay, good. You've got people coming back in the Zoom right now. How many of you, show of hands, how many of you know or have seen Eileen Whiter, either online, see her speak at a live event, or, whoa, look at her, that's amazing. Go ahead, blow up the chat screen on some of the great things or some of the things that you love about Eileen or where you see her from and stuff like that. Because if you haven't, then you're going to get to know her very, very soon. Eileen, I know you're in the room right now. We got 545 people, which is super cool. And I met Eileen in Russell Brunson's Inner Circle. That's how we first interacted. And we built up a really great relationship over the course of the years that I've known her. And she was one of the catalysts for me selling my very first 100K offer. She's regarded as the queen of stages. She charges $250,000 a day for a VIP day with her. She's one of the highest paid speakers on the planet right now, spoken on some of the world's biggest stages. And it was only not so long ago where that same event where Myron did that coaching on me and I lost that game. But I was in an Uber that day with Eileen and going to the mastermind event, and then Eileen's just talking about her 100K offers, her 250K offers, and I'm in the Uber thinking, I just couldn't believe it. I just could not fathom how it's even possible. But clearly, it's possible because I'm literally in an Uber with Eileen and she's doing it and she's explaining it to me, and I'm like, I get it logically, but I wasn't getting it emotionally. And that was the start of the journey of planting that seed of what's actually possible. You know, when you're in a room where people believe in you more than you believe in yourself, or people paint the picture of what's actually possible, then you can start seeing it for yourself. And it's very hard to see any other way from reading a book or watching a YouTube clip, but you have to be in proximity with people like that, and that changes your life. And so out of the years that I've known Eileen, and I've got to know her very well and even seen on stages and hear talks and stuff like that, but that one Uber ride was the thing that changed the most personally for me. And so, ladies and gents, I've got a video before I bring Eileen on to play, but she's an amazing speaker. She was a pastor for 20 years before she built up an 8-figure empire, known as the queen of stages, but more importantly, just a really beautiful person. And you're going to feel her energy straight away. So in case you've never seen her before, but this is who she is, Eileen Whiter, and I've got a short little video just to help introduce her to the stage.
Today I'm here with one of my close friends, Eileen Wilder, and she's done not once but twice now, which is making $1 million in a day.
I submit to you that Eileen is one of the best teachers you will ever listen to.
If you've ever wondered how you could make either 6 or even 7 figures in one day, I have learned from Eileen Wilder, who is called Queen of Stages, who is a best-selling author.
Get up out of your seat, put your hands together. Welcome to the stage, Eileen Wilder.
Eileen, you're a stud. Really phenomenal on just everything. Really, really good.
She's one of my favorite speakers I've ever seen. She is someone nicknamed the Queen of Stages. She sells super high ticket things on the stage. She's had a chance to speak at Funnel Hacking Live with Tony Robbins, with me, with other people. She is amazing. You guys are going to really enjoy her. So with that said, let's stand up and let's put our hands together for Eileen Wilder!
Ladies and gentlemen, please be standing in the virtual room. Give a big warm welcome to the one and only amazing Eileen Whiter.
What's up, everybody?
Hey Eileen, I super appreciate the time too. It's Friday, 8 p.m. for you.
Woo,
So,
woo, woo.
yeah, unconventional time to speak on a Friday at 8 p.m. But here we are. So thank you. Super
It's a
grateful
party.
for that.
It's a party over here. Yeah.
It's a party.
Yeah. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me, everybody. I'm excited. Richmond, thank you again. Let's get into it. Woo, woo, woo. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you would like to turn every talk, every video, every time you open your mouth, every time you get on stage, every time you're on social media, come on, somebody, how many of you would like to turn every talk into sales? Give me a yes in the chat. I'm looking for about 335 people who are ready to have fun tonight. Let's go. Well, fantastic. In today's short presentation, I'm going to teach you how to build a one-day cash machine. All right, so how many days? It's a one-day cash machine. Now, by the end of the presentation, I'm going to show you the #1 master key that's going to turn any talk into sales. This is going to be so helpful for you, whether you've been on video or you haven't, whether you're just starting out or you're an 8-figure entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. The other thing you're going to get by the end of this presentation, I'm going to show you specifically when to screenshot the screen, because I'm going to give you a customized, watch this, mantra. You could call it affirmation, whatever you want. It's going to be a customized mantra. Now listen up, based on your body type. Someone go, what? I know. Tonight it's going to be super fun. Now, if we haven't met before, like Richmond said, I used to be a pastor, and I went to this kind of church that was really fun, and it was like a talk back church. So like the preacher was feeling it, he'd say, "Can I get an amen?" And the church would shout, "Amen." So is it okay with you if we just have a ton of fun over the next few minutes and we all go out and make a whole lot more money? If that sounds good, slap your neighbor upside the head and say amen. Now, one thing that you may not know about me is I am a homeschooling mom. And now, Richmond, I think am I able to, give me a thumbs up on the screen. If you guys, can you see my screen and see my cute family? So these are my kids. I homeschool 3 kids right now. Can you believe it? And that's my husband, Harrison, and we all run the business together. I believe in child labor. Anybody else here believe putting their kids to work? So fun. And I get to work with the best people on the planet. But only 5 years ago, I used to be a normal person. So type in the chat, how many years ago was it? It was only 5 years ago. It was 2020. Do you remember where you were in 2020? Yes, we could all go around and share the mic, right? Well, I was in this apartment. And in this apartment, my husband was Uber driving to support our family. Do y'all have Uber where you live? Let me know in the chat if you have ride shares. So this is me homeschooling my kids in our apartment. In 2018, I went to an event. Right before 2020. Okay, 2018, I went to an event. But at this event, at this event, they used a lot of words I didn't understand. So let me know I'm going to open up the chat here. Have you understood every word that's happened at Permission Branding Bootcamp? Give me a 1. If you've learned some new words, give me a 2. I learned a bunch of new words there at this event. And some of the new words that I learned were these words. I did not know what it meant to go live. I was at this event, Funnel Hacking Live, and they said, go live. And they said, publish daily. And they said, content is king. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? But I tried to look all cool on my row. And then they said, you got to go on YouTube, you got to go on Instagram, you got to be on TikTok, and you got to have a hit podcast. And that's when I said, this is too much. Let me know in the chat, have you ever felt overwhelmed with all the things that you need to do on video, on stage, and in speaking? Give me a yes. This is going to be so good for you today. Okay, you guys are playing full out. Let's go. Now, at Funnel Hacking Live is where I read this quote from Stephen Pressfield. He said, what ails you and me has nothing to do with being sick or being wrong. What ails you and I is that we're living our lives as amateurs. Suddenly I realized at Funnel Hacking Live that I was close to 40 and I was broke. And that wasn't even my biggest problem. I'm close to 40 and broke, and my biggest problem is that I was hiding.
hiding. I was hiding. I'm close to 40. I'm broke, but that's not my biggest issue. I was hiding. And then I read this ancient proverb: if you bring forth that which is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Whoa. Stephen Pressfield then had an answer to this, and I was so relieved. I was there at FHL opening the book. I brought the War of Art with me. He said, turn pro in your own mind. You have to call yourself a pro before anyone else will. You're a pro when you say you are. Now, my question for you is, before we go through the rest of the presentation, it's not going to work. What I show you with the stuff is not going to work for your body type. It's not going to work unless you call yourself a pro first. Before you see it, before you see any evidence of it, before your bank account says that you're a pro, before your family says you're a pro, before an audience gives you a standing ovation and someone likes, comments, or shares your stuff on social, you got to call yourself a pro. So I need about 439 excited people today to type pro in the chat if you're ready to go pro right now. And it was at Funnel Hacking Live that I realized all these years, you guys are fire here in the chat, I had been waiting on God, but God was waiting on me. So I ran home from Funnel Hacking Live. Now, before I tell you what I did, do you guys want to know when I ran home from FHL? Because within the next 24 months, I hit my first $1 million based on what I did right here, okay? I'm about to tell you guys remember I told you, well, I don't know if I mentioned this in the intro. I'm about to share with you this secret in this presentation. For those of you who follow my work, you will have never heard this before. I have never shared what it is I'm about to share right now, ever. So are you ready? This is like a legit breakthrough, and this is what I've distilled looking back is the number one reason why. How many of you guys want to go fast? Someone type fast in the chat right now. You want to go fast. Like I'm talking quantum leaps. Like I'm 38 and broke, then I hit $1 million, then I hit 3 million, then 5 million, then 10 million, then 12 million. How many of you guys want to just go, let's go fast. So I'm about to be a little vulnerable because I have never shared this. But the reason why I ran home, I'm close to 40 and broke, and I had a traumatic experience. Okay, now it's okay. You guys can handle it. But I'm going to share what happened to me 17 years ago. This is from a new book I'm writing right now. So this is what has never been said ever before, except it's hot off the press. Permission Branding Bootcamp. So I was 23 years old, backstage at my church in Washington, D.C., about to speak for the first time. I felt the calling my whole life, a pull, a whisper that said, this is what you're meant to do. I'd prepared all week. I knew every word. And then they called my name on the stage, but my body stopped backstage. My legs cemented. My chest crushed, my vision started tunneling, and then I threw up in the corner while the pastor called my name again and again and again. Until finally, in the silence, they just moved on without me. The drive home, I snuck out the back door of my church. The drive home was a blur of streetlights and shame, tears streaking down my face. One thought repeating, who are you kidding? That night, I made a vow. I'd stay in the background. I'd let someone else take the stage. I'd stop reaching for something I clearly wasn't capable of. And I kept that vow for 17 years, waiting in the wings, hiding from being seen, dreaming of destiny, until staying asleep hurt worse than waking up. So thank you for letting me share this. When I came home from Funnel Hacking Live, I filmed my very first video. I call it my janky video. And you can see here that I'm staring off the screen to an imaginary figure who's not there because I can't look at the camera hole because I'm so scarred from this event that happened 17 years ago. I'm so afraid of being seen. You can see the video is just about 1 minute and 27 seconds long because there was an incident. There was energy trapped in my body. And in this presentation, I'm going to show you how I got that energy out of my body and how you can too, based on your body type. Does that sound good? Someone say that sounds good. Okay. Now, if you would believe it, this was me 5 years ago. I can't look at the camera. And now I'm one of the highest paid speakers on the actual literal planet. I've been paid millions of dollars to speak in this. So if you want to go fast, congratulations, you're in the right spot. Now, when I first made the video, it was pretty terrible, right? It looks pretty terrible. And how do I know it was terrible? People told me about it. Okay. They told me about it. So 5 years ago, I began a search for how amateurs communicated and how pros communicated. Wave at me if you're with me here in Permission Branding Bootcamp. You guys with me here? Now, I did over 300 hours. I found all the great speeches on YouTube, ones with applause, standing ovation. And what I found was shocking. Here's the difference between how pros and how amateurs communicate. Amateurs always communicate. We would call them boring. Have you ever had a boring teacher? Okay. But here's what is happening. When amateurs are speaking, the number one killer of sales is low energy. This is 100% every single time. Every speaker that's boring, every stage presentation that isn't converting is low energy. In contrast, every powerful communicator, everyone who can cause a table rush, anyone who can cause the audience to get on their feet, people like Richmond, come on somebody, they have a high energy presence. Have you witnessed this before? A high energy presence? Now here's the reason why. Communication is only 7% verbal, but 93% nonverbal. So let me set you free tonight. Has anyone ever been afraid of speaking or getting on video or getting on stage and not having the right words? Here's the great news. The words don't matter. I know, they don't matter. It's 93% energy. So if you can get your energy right, you can win. Who wants to play that game tonight with me? You can get your energy right, you can win. Now, not only that, high income is attracted to high energy. So the more energy that you put in your body, even you can practice it with me right now before I give you your customized mantra in your body by putting energy in your body. The more energy that you put in your body, the more free, watch this word, the more you can get your energy to flow through your body, the more money you're going to make. If that sounds good, someone say that sounds good. Because if it's only 7% words, it is not your words that are keeping you back. Your income is capped at the level of your energy. But the great news is if you can free up your energy, you can free up your bank account. How many of you want that to be that story, right? So I kept asking, well, how do the pros get the high energy? So in my 300 hours, I went deep into the study of bioenergetics. I studied the students of Freud, and then later some psychologists I'm going to show you, and I found something called the IT factor formula. Now, when I started executing this formula, getting the energy free in my body and other students' bodies just from this simple mantra, I started going from little stages to big stages, little podcasts to big podcasts. People started bringing me into their events, not only, but to increase the energy. Someone say energy out loud. Increase the energy at that event. And that with one particular event, I got up and spoke after a man named T.D. Jakes. And he spoke, then I spoke, then the offer was going to be made. And the crowd was so unleashed and so lit up, it was like the roof was blowing off the building. Have you all ever been to an event like this? Crazy. So quick question before I show you how to do this. How many of you would like to know how to make the crowd go crazy? I'm just going to wait. They went banana pants insane in the membrane. I'm not even going to lie. It was nuts. And then the host got up and dropped the offer and this huge table rush because of the energy. Now, that's when I realized, here's the big takeaway. When I stepped off the stage, that's when I realized, okay, I've now become the communicator I always wished I had been, but I was hiding 5 years ago. What did I do? Okay. Speaking is the skill that pays the bills. Can I get an amen in the church house today? Now, not only did the crowd go crazy, my bank account went crazy. How many of you want this to be your story? Give me a yes in the chat. My bank account went crazy. Now, I'm not talking about all this, right? So you can know what's happening in my life. I'm talking about this so that you can know what's happening in your life and my life and everybody's life. So everybody tap your chest and say, my life. I want you to know that wherever you are right now, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're an Uber driver, you're an 8-figure entrepreneur, whether you're old, whether you're young, your life can be exponentially better than it is right now, almost overnight. But you have to allow yourself to stop hiding and go pro. Someone say, go pro. And go pro. Type pro in the chat. And the only thing I want you to be thinking right now is if that chick can do it, I'm about to be rich. If that 5 years ago. All right. So this is the IT Factor formula. I've never introduced this to anyone outside of this room right now. So you're getting it first. This is the IT Factor formula. If you don't do this, your energy will stay stuck in your body and the energy won't flow. And this is why people repeat year after year after year. Who doesn't want 2026 to be just another year? Let me know in the chat. Not today. Oh no, there's way too much for you to do. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to identify your pattern, break your pattern, and then we're going to speak what you seek. Who's with me? Just give me a me in the chat. You having fun? I'm just checking on temp checking on the crew. We're going to identify your pattern, break your pattern, and then speak with you. This is so great. This is going to be so great. Okay. Now, what I'm going to show you here is something based on bioenergetics. This is a body-based therapy. Nearly 100 years of clinical research. I'm going to show you your body type and how to get your energy unleashed. It was founded by Freud's protege, William Reich, in the 1930s. And then it was furthered by Alexander Lowen. I don't know how many of you guys know this work, but it's one of the most time-tested maps. And there are 5 patterns. There are 5 energy patterns. And we're going to find which one you are right now. This is way better than a personality test because this one will make you money. All right, let's go. Pattern number 1. You guys with me? Pattern number 1. Okay, so if you know your pattern, when I call it your pattern, you can let me know. So there are 5. So there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you're one of the 5. Here's the 1. The 1 is called a leaving pattern. Now the leaving pattern, this body type is very thin because the trauma therapy suggests they had trouble kind of connecting to earth when they were born. So their energy constantly wants to leave. Now, the leaving pattern constantly wants to leave the room, leave the thing, leave the conversation, leave the house. I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. They're constantly leaving. They almost have usually they're quite thin. Okay, I'm married to somebody who's a leaving pattern. Now the leaving pattern struggles with their energy, but here we're going to show you how to fix it. They constantly feel like if they're fully seen And if they're fully here, that people will reject them. Elon Musk, Robin Williams. But I'm going to tell you the gift. The gift of the leading pattern is they see beyond the physical because they're so connected to the supernatural, the spiritual realm, that they're very creative and they have access to usually the best artists are a leading pattern. Okay, you guys with me? That's a 1. Here's a 2. The 2 is the merging pattern. The merging pattern is usually a softer body, a little bit rounder, and their eyes are typically pleading or needy. Okay, this is Oprah, this is Bill Clinton. Now here's a lie that the merging pattern believes, that I'm not enough on my own. I need you. Now you'll know you're a merger if when you get on video or on stage, you're constantly looking at the audience's reactions and you're a high maintenance speaker. You need the reactions to keep going. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to unleash a merging pattern in just a second. Here's the enduring pattern. This body type is thick and stout, kind of stocky and compressed, because the energy is going in and down. So typically like I would say our more padded individuals, okay, they're usually slow in speech because their energy is going in and down. So Winston Churchill is a great example of this. Actually, Adele is a great example of this, and she has said that she uses some of the verbal patterns. I'll show you the enduring does. So the energy here does not want to take up space. They don't want to get on this. Typically, these people want to do faceless videos. They don't want anybody to see them in the enduring, okay? However, the gift of the enduring is they have an unshakable steadiness and a stamina to endure almost anything. Okay, stick with me. Are you guys with me? Give me a thumbs up if you're tracking. Okay, we got a couple more. Here's the aggressive pattern. The aggressive pattern energy is coming up and out, up and out. They take up a lot of space. They have broad shoulders, more narrow hips, strong, commanding eye contact. Their voice is loud and declarative. This is Tony Robbins. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is Dwayne. They do have a lie that the aggressive pattern believes, which is no one's going to protect me. I've got to do it all. Kind of threat is everywhere. Okay. Now, the gift of the aggressive pattern is they've got a really powerful presence. They have a lot of charisma, a lot of will, a lot of leadership energy here. Going into that's number 4. Here's number 5. Number 5 is the rigid pattern. Energy constricts in. So these are usually kind of more of a fit body type, but their energy is very held back because they're trying to control everything and be perfect. Okay, so this is Al Gore, Martha Stewart, Mark Zuckerberg, very technical, very good posture. Okay, so this is the rigid pattern. Now, the gift of the rigid pattern is they usually can bring a lot of structure and make really great work, and they can achieve goals really well. Now, if you know your pattern, or you think you know your pattern, drop a yes in the chat. Typically, we're 2 patterns. I'm going to tell you what mine are. My pattern is the rigid pattern, and I'm a merging pattern. You can see my eyes constantly looking. I'm a high maintenance speaker. I'm like, drop this in the chat, wave at me, So I'm a 5 and a 2. So we're typically 2. Now, what I'm going to show you next is there's a way to cure and unleash the energy for every single one of these body types. If this is nuts, can you type nuts if you've ever heard this before? Because when I found it, I was like, this is nuts. But then it worked like crazy pants and I became a millionaire. So now I'm just telling you, okay? So the way we got to break the pattern is there's a negative inner critic that keeps the energy. They actually call it body armoring. Okay, so when these are coming kind of from our thoughts or the vibrations of our thoughts, it's going into our body and it's creating body armoring. If that's making sense, give me a yes. However, the way we need to cure it is we have to speak back to the negative inner critic that is keeping this energy contained in our bodies. Are you with me? Because who you really are is you're a warrior, but you're thinking like an average man. You're a queen, tolerating things below your worth. And you're a powerhouse, but you're not lifting your voice yet because your energy's stuck. You guys with me? So here are the curing mantras. Now, before I tell you, I'm going to tell you the next screen is the one that you screenshot, okay? And then I'm going to show you when I said this mantra to me for the 5. So the rigid pattern for the 5, this is what enabled me to go live, create stories. I say it before I go on stage. I say it every day. My husband knows I'm a 5, so he says it to me every time I'm going to speak or do anything, okay? And it has cured me and unleashed my energy, not just unleashed my energy, but it will unleash arenas energy, a whole stadium's worth of energy. Listen, if you step into the you inside of you, you can light a stadium on fire. Give me a yes, okay, if you want to step into your full energy. So here is what you're going to screenshot, okay? These mantras, you don't have to say them exactly like this, but these are the cures for the inner critic that will unleash the energy based on your body type. You will no longer start to store the energy, you start to become free. I'm going to give you an example. So I'll say them out loud. The leaving pattern is going, all of me is showing up today because they want to leave, okay? It's going to land because I'm solid and I'm not going anywhere. So they're grounding into the earth. The merging pattern says no approval is required. I am the source of my force. I don't need you. I'm good. I've got it. That's how the merging pattern unleashes their energy. The enduring pattern says, move aside, world. Here I come. Because their energy goes in and down. So they have to go big and out. They have to take up the space on the stage. Here I come. I'm done being small. I'm going to have a ball. Okay. So they have to go out. Aggressive is going normally out, so they have to say, I'm held by the universe, I've got nothing to prove. Softness is strength, I can rest, okay? So they have to feel contained and not in threat. A rigid, here's what I would say, and I say it so many times every day, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun. Messy is magic. Let's just see what happens. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna make a janky video. Okay, give me a yes if that's making sense. Fantastic. We're wrapping up now. So you may say to yourself, how many times do I need to say this? Well, here's the third key. We're going to identify your pattern, break your pattern. We just want to speak what you seek. You want to speak out as much as you can. Once you know your body type, this is going to unleash your energy, speaking one of these mantras, okay? So I kept saying, I'm going to have fun. This is going to be so much fun. This is going to be so great. I don't have to be perfect. I'm just going to have fun. And then I read this story about a man named W. Clement Stone, and watch how many times he said his mantra. Okay, he's actually a type 4. Napoleon Hill is a type 1, very thin, leaving. Okay, so W. Clement Stone was best friends with Napoleon Hill, and he said this phrase, do it now, 100 times a day. Do it now. Do it now. Because he was speaking to that inner critic. And he understood that the number one enemy of mindset isn't number one enemy of wealth isn't mindset, it's delay. So he's using his words. We're going to speak what we seek. Let's say that out loud. I'm going to speak what I seek. Now, Napoleon Hill said successful people make decisions quickly, change them very slowly, but unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly and change them often and quickly. I like to say it like this. Procrastination is the assassination of your destination. So you've got to speak what you seek. You've got to speak out to get the energy flow out. And as soon as you do that, I guarantee you're going to feel the exact same way that I did. Your energy is going to start to free up. It's going to break up. It's going to start to unleash. And you're not going to be able to find that old story of hiding anymore. Okay, let's go. Now, how many of you guys want to play with me and do that right now? Let's just play. I think I have like 3 seconds left. Is that right, Richmond? Well, I love it because we can just play because 2/3 of God's name is go, right? 2/3 of God's name is go. So why don't we just play just for like a second, okay? All right. So if you're ready to stop your addiction to affliction and the inner critic is making sense, you got to speak out loud. This is the therapy says that you have to speak out loud. Okay. So now maybe you haven't gotten hate comments on internet like I have, but you got to get a little fight in your spirit, understanding that people are against you, that you got critics in your mind and you got critics out there, and you got to get a little fight in your spirit, and you got to use your words. So if you're with me, say words in the chat. You got to use your words. Because it's the only weapon that God's given us. In fact, the Bible says that God has created you to be a speaking spirit. It's the only thing that separates us from the animals. The breath that went from God went into us, and he created us as a speaking spirit. In fact, the words abracadabra mean I will create as I speak, right? So the inner critic wants to keep you broke, busted, and disgusted. But listen, the critic is coming at you, listen to me now, because there's a reason for your calling. The reason why the critic is so loud and trying to keep the energy is because it's not about you. He's trying to rob you of your identity so he can rob you of your legacy. Why? It's because it's not about you. It's about those you're called to reach, those you're called to teach, and those you're called to preach to. That is why the inner critic is trying to keep your energy contained. So we got to punch him in the face with words. Okay? Now here's some words I'm just going to speak over you. And then we'll at the end we'll say do it now. Okay? But here's some words I'm just going to speak over you. Right? I declare in 2026 that you're not going to have any more patience for the poverty that you've been tolerating. You're not going to tolerate any more mediocrity in 2026. The clamoring of inferior men is not going to stop you. There may be a battle that you're facing, but you are going to break through. There may be a setback that's trying to make you that setback is just going to be a comeback, okay? And that you are going to declare your energy unleashed in 2026. Who's with me? Give me an amen in the chat. And you're going to take fast, imperfect action in 2026. If you believe that, somebody in this room right now say, do it now. Do it now. In 2026, am going to do it now. I'm going to do it janky. I'm going to do it imperfect. Get out of my way, world. I'm here. Do it now. The reason for that resistance, the reason that's keeping